In the quiet village of Arumba, there lived a young girl named Lila. She was beautiful beyond words. Her dark skin glowed like polished ebony, and her smile could make even the elders stop and stare. But what made her special were her waist beads. They weren't like any ordinary ones. They sparkled even in the dark, whispering with strange energy. Every man who looked at her couldn't resist falling for her charm. Yet no one knew where she got those beads from. Lila would walk through the market slowly, her steps graceful and confident. The women watched her with envy, while the men stumbled over their words. But behind her beauty was a secret she guarded with her life. Those beads were not mere decorations. They held power, a power that could bend the hearts of men and make them do whatever she wanted. A humble young farmer named Toby lived at the edge of the village. He was hard-working and honest, spending his days tending to his father's small farm. One evening, as he was returning home, he met Lila by the riverbank. The moonlight danced on her waist beads, and for a moment, Toby forgot to breathe. She smiled at him sweetly, and from that night, his heart no longer belonged to him. It belonged to her. Days turned into weeks, and Toby found himself doing everything to please Lila. He gave her his harvest, his animals, and even stopped going to the farm. His friends warned him that something was wrong, but he could not see reason. Lila's smile had caged his soul, and her beads glowed brighter every time he gave her something. One afternoon, the village elder, Mama Ijeoma, called Toby aside. She had noticed how pale and weak he had become since meeting Lila. Her wrinkled face was filled with worry as she said, "My son, there is darkness around that girl. Those beads she wears are not for beauty, they are for power." But Toby laughed softly, thinking the old woman was only jealous. Mama Ijeoma sighed deeply. "I have seen this before," she whispered. "Long ago, a woman used those same beads to drain men of their strength until they became nothing but shadows of themselves." But Toby, blinded by love, ignored her words and hurried back to Lila, unaware that he was walking into a trap of no return. Lila told Toby she wanted something special, a rare fish found deep in the forbidden part of the river. She said, "Bring it for me, and I'll show you how much I love you." Though the elders had warned everyone never to go near that part of the river, Toby could not refuse her. That night, he entered the dark water, the moonlight reflecting like a ghostly eye. As he reached the center, a voice echoed from below, "Leave this place, or you will never return." But Toby ignored it, thinking it was only his imagination. Suddenly, cold hands grabbed his legs, pulling him under. He screamed, but the river swallowed his voice. At dawn, he crawled out, weak and trembling, holding the fish, yet something in his eyes had changed forever. When Toby gave the fish to Lila, she smiled and kissed his forehead. As she tied the beads tighter around her waist, one of them cracked open, dripping a red liquid like blood. Toby gasped, but Lila only laughed. "Every sacrifice makes me stronger," she said softly. For a brief second, her eyes flashed red, and her voice echoed like two voices speaking at once. That night, Toby had nightmares. He saw men's faces crying from within the beads, whispering his name. When he woke up, sweat covered his body, and Lila was gone. But her laughter still echoed in his ears, faint and haunting. Terrified, Toby went to Mama Ijeoma for help. When she saw him, she knew the curse had already begun. She took him into her hut and lit 7 candles. "My son, you are trapped," she said. "The only way to break her hold is to find where she got those beads from." Mama Ijeoma told Toby that years ago, a river spirit named Adaku gave those beads to women who made secret promises, promises of loyalty and blood. "The beads feed on love," she explained. "The more a man loves her, the more the beads take from him." Toby fell to his knees in regret. He had given Leela everything, even his soul. Mama Ijeoma told Toby to go back to the river and call upon the spirit of Adaku. That night, he returned, trembling but determined. He stood by the water and shouted, "Adaku, show yourself!" The river rippled, and a tall, glowing woman rose from the waves, her eyes shimmering like silver. "Why have you called me mortal?" she asked. Toby begged for mercy, explaining how Leela had used the beads to hurt him. The spirit's smile faded. "She broke our bond," she said angrily. "She was supposed to use the beads for love, not greed." The spirit promised to help him, but only if he was willing to make a sacrifice of his own. The river spirit demanded Toby offer something precious, his most cherished memory, in exchange for breaking Leela's power. Tears filled his eyes as he agreed. "Then you shall forget your parents' faces," Adaku declared. The water rose around him, washing away the memories of his family. When he opened his eyes, he could no longer remember his father or mother. In return, Adaku gave him a small shell glowing with blue light. She said, "Place this on her beads when she sleeps. It will reveal her true form." Toby thanked her, his heart heavy, knowing the price he had paid was irreversible. That night, Toby found Leela sleeping under the moonlight, her beads glowing faintly. Quietly, he placed the shell on her waist. The moment it touched the beads, a loud hiss filled the air. Leela's body shook violently, her skin changing into something scaly and dark. She screamed, but it wasn't the voice of a girl. It was a shriek of a creature from the deep. Her beautiful beads cracked one by one, revealing trapped faces inside, faces of men she had destroyed. Toby stepped back in horror as she rose, half woman, half serpent, her eyes burning red. "You fool," she hissed. "Now you've seen what I truly am." Leela attacked Toby with unimaginable fury. Trees bent under the force of her screams, and the river churned like boiling water. But Toby held the glowing shell tightly. It shone brighter every strike she made. "You cannot win," she cried. "I own your heart." But Toby shouted back, "Not anymore," and pressed the shell to her chest. There was a blinding flash. The ground shook as Leela screamed in pain, her beads turning to dust. When the light faded, she fell lifeless by the riverbank, her body dissolving into the water. The once beautiful girl was gone, leaving behind only silence and the faint sound of beads sinking into the riverbed. When dawn came, the villagers found Toby lying unconscious near the river. Mama Ijeoma revived him and saw that the curse was lifted. "It is over," she whispered. But Toby's eyes were filled with sorrow. Though he was free, he had lost his family memories forever. The villagers buried what remained of Leela's beads deep beneath the old baobab tree, warning future generations never to wear beads they did not understand. From that day, no girl in Arumba wore waist beads without fear. Even after her death, strange things began happening. At night, people heard whispers near the river and the sound of beads rattling in the wind. Some said they saw a shadow of a girl walking near the water, her waist glimmering faintly. Mama Ijeoma warned, "Evil never truly dies, it only sleeps." The villagers decided to hold yearly cleansing rituals by the river, pouring palm wine and chanting prayers to keep Leela's spirit at rest. Yet sometimes, fishermen claimed they still heard her laughter beneath the waves. Toby, though heartbroken, began to rebuild his life. He returned to his farm, working harder than ever. But he carried the shell from Adaku wherever he went, a reminder of his mistake.
Over time, he became wiser, teaching young men never to be blinded by beauty. He told them, "Love a woman for her heart, not her charms. Beauty fades, but greed hides behind glitter." The men respected him and called him the farmer who fought the river. Many years later, a young girl found something shiny near the old baobab tree. It was a broken string of waist beads. She tied them around her waist, thinking they were just pretty decorations. That night, her eyes glowed faintly red in her sleep, and her laughter echoed faintly through the village. Mama Ijeoma, now very old, heard it and whispered, "It has begun again." The story of Leela and Toby became a warning passed down through generations. The villagers taught their children, "Do not desire what you